Hi. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the tea materials we provided for you. All right, before we move finally to the second session, to the first session actually, where we will discuss the obstacles and opportunities to import and export in Nigeria, let's quickly have three couples. By couples, I mean people like paired up with people, yeah, not married couples, obviously. So let's have three couples that are very sure that their interview was perfect. I'm sure you get what I mean. So I asked you to pair up with somebody and meet up with the person, and you're very sure that you know everything about the person, such that when you come outside, no matter the question I ask you, you tell me the person's primary school, secondary school, you know. Okay, no, I didn't ask you to ask that one. It's fine. I didn't ask you to ask that one. But then, if you are sure that you did your assignment very well, with your full chest, raise your hand. Oh, wow. So nobody. But Anita, I saw you now. You were neck deep into it. You were doing your research. You were asking questions. You were conversing. You almost did not have your tea. All right. Anita and her partner, let's have. No, not you. Your partner will speak to. Where is it? Okay, it's not there. Okay, it's fine. All right. If you know you did your assignment very well, can you have a wave of hand? Okay, so it's safe to say that after I paid the people and begged you to network with each other, you could not answer. You did. That's what I want to hear. So, your name again. Okay, there's a microphone in front of you. Your name. Yes.
Okay, my name is Nonye Umahi.
Your name is?
Nonye Umahi.
So it's safe to call you Nonye?
Yes, please.
Who did I pair you with?
Oso Genesin.
You even know his name.
Urobo.
Okay, direct. I see. Is there a microphone there? None. All right. So, Nonye, what do you know about him? Who is he?
Okay, I've just found out he's a banker.
You see?
Third.
Okay.
First Bank, Oceanic Bank, UTB those days.
Okay.
Eco Bank, and then finally at Nexim. He's new at Nexim.
Okay, Nexim, okay.
Yeah, and he's in business development. Incidentally, that's what I do.
Oh, nice. You see, that was the function of the networking.
Yeah. So, right. Incidentally, we found out that we're also sons. He went to Federal World, so
okay.
I did too, so.
Okay.
And He's just new in Lagos.
Ah, wow. He doesn't look like it.
He's just in Lagos. Somehow, I'm also there, just like mine was like 2 or 3 years ago. I came in and then COVID came and I've been indoors. So I'm still like a JJC in Lagos. Anyway. Yeah. So he has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl.
Do you know his net worth? At this point. At this point. All right, please give Noye a round of applause. She did the assignment very well. What do you know about Noye?
Wow.
At this point, you will tell us our wedding date.
Okay. Her name is Chinoye
Okay.
Umadi,
All right.
namesake of the governor of Enugu State.
Wow.
Sometimes she's being assumed as a sister to the governor.
Okay.
She's had it
because they bear the same surname.
But they bear the same surname. She's had it so many times, and sometimes it has gotten her into trouble.
Trouble cake. Or even open doors for you.
She's married to. She's from Anambra State. Married to Imo State.
Hey. Full details. Some of you even took notes. I'm proud.
She has 2 children, 2 boys.
Wow.
15 and 16. They're school in Enugu. And she's making plans to relocate them to Lagos as soon as.
So what do you know about her business?
She's a medical scientist, finished from the University of Onitsha. She actually went to MDGC Onitsha too. And she's a she's into business development. She's a consultant.
Okay.
She's also a medical scientist.
Okay.
So, and the reason why she's here is she wants to really know how the digitalization of the custom ports and operations can help her business and her clients. Because
she's into business, import and export.
She's into import and export also. Consumables coming to the country.
Okay.
Sometimes they go bad.
Okay.
There's one of the major challenges clients and business partners has. So she's looking for a way. She's here because she wants to know how.
She's back from the lockdown.
Yes.
So she's trying to penetrate.
Thank you.
So aside knowing the number of children she has, how do you think you as a person and what you do can align with hers? Because that was also the point of the whole networking, to see how people can come together and partner and then make profit, double the income in Lagos, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm from Nexim Bank.
Okay.
Currently. And
so she has found an investor.
We're looking for a way to finance.
That's so beautiful to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. All right, without wasting time, we're going to move to the next pair. Yes, please. Thank you. Wow, that was very beautiful. It's because there were different genders. Okay, so let's have another pair that were the same gender. Felicia, hi. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, Felicia doesn't like speaking in public. So I will not let him speak in public. You just sit down there and speak in private, but you just use the microphone. Do you understand? So who did I pair you with? Where is she? Where is he? Okay. So Felicia, grab your microphone. It's right there. Look at it. Sorry, I didn't get your name, ma'am, beside Felicia. Yes.
Oh, Cynthia.
Cynthia. Okay, so you'll be the 3rd pair. So Felicia, tell us what you know about, what's his name again?
Tony Kediashi.
Right. So the first couple were a man and a woman, and they did excellently well. Everybody can attest to it. But you were paired with another man. Let's see, what do you know about him? How do you think he can help what you do as a person and then your company too?
Okay. Fun fact: Mr. Tony has been with PIL for 22 years.
Wow.
That's almost the time it took me to get primary school education, secondary school education, and tertiary degree. So PIL, interestingly, they're into their shipping line, and essentially that means that there are areas of partnership between his company and mine. We are into commodities and we do a lot of exports. So beyond knowing what he does personally and how He helps operations. We are also looking at doing some business this year.
Together already, this 2022.
Yeah.
I am proud. I am proud. So, Mr. Tony, tell us what you know about Felicia. Please give them a round of applause. Partnership, investment, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, I'm Folanshaw.
He took notes, ladies and gentlemen. He took notes.
He works with
He came prepared. Okay.
And he's a commercial manager expert.
Okay.
He's a young man who is just starting his career.
All right.
So we spoke, and I think he has been in this company now for 2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yes.
All right.
And they are into supporting of farmers through input, warehousing, and providing support to farmers.
So is there prospect of you people working together?
Yes, because they deal with farmers and consumer goods. We have a we have an export department. We take people's cargo from Nigeria to other part of the world. So we are going to continue from there.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Please put your hands together for Mr. Tony and Felicia. Finally, very quickly, Cynthia, who did I pair you with? Dr. Ibrahim. Dr. Ibrahim, where is he? Oh, okay, Dr. Ibrahim. All right.
So he had his first degree. He's a vet.
Woo!
Had his first degree in Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. Masters in Glasgow, Caledonia. He's currently studying for his PhD in UI. He also has a consultancy in public health, which he obtained from UI.
Okay.
He's married with 3 children.
Okay, thank you for that information.
The first one is in Scotland, and the 2 are here with him in Nigeria.
All right.
He's currently the comptroller quarantine at Imeko border. That's the border of Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Okay.
Before then, he was in Apapa for 2 years, Diroko for 1 year, Semebota border for 7 years. And so he's currently the Comptroller General Quarantine. Comptroller. Okay. Quarantine at the Imeko border.
Okay.
He's also a fellow of the Veterinary School of Surgeons and Surgery.
Beautiful. Please put your hands together for Cynthia. So, Mr. Ibrahim, you spoke with Cynthia, you guys exchanged information about each other. Do you think there is a possibility of coming together to partner or invest in what Cynthia is up to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
An opportunity and a privilege to be here. Actually, I am not supposed to be here, but my boss is here with me, sitting beside me.
Beautiful. We recognize you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
If it is not him, I will not going to be here. So he invited me to follow him, and I did, because we are paramilitary and we obey before complain. So I'm Dr. Ibrahim Ali Ogiwa, the controller in Meko Command, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Mrs. Cynthia, she's not just Cynthia, she's a mother, she's a grandmother.
Wow, we didn't know that.
So she is a director, stakeholders, relations and convention on business integrity. She has been there for 6 years.
Okay.
And she now works with Nigerian Stocks Exchange for 24 years.
Wow.
And she has 3 beautiful girls.
She told us that your children, one is in Scotland, 2 are in Nigeria. Tell us where our children
are. They are girls too. They are girls too.
Okay.
You know. So she studied BSc, Uniben, her first degree. A second degree, MSc, Unilag, Economics. And she's from Edo State, and she's married to a Delta man.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for our third couple. Wow. So that was the whole essence of the networking. I'll come back to the rest of the couples after this session. But even if I did not pair you with somebody, we've had 6 persons speak, and they've told you what they know about the persons they were paired with. So it's good for you to walk up to any of them that you think will take interest in what you do, partner with you, or invest with you. All right. That said, it's about time for our very first session, which will be based on the obstacles and opportunities to import and export in Nigeria. We're going to discuss the potentials to enhance cross-border trade through import and exports that the African Continental Free Trade Area present. I am going to invite the moderator and the co-moderator, the persons of Commercial Manager at Exports at Effects Commodities Exchange. Please put your hands together as I make welcome Folusho Adejero. Yes. And his co-moderator will be a trade and business analyst at One Port 365, the person of Chinedu Enworom. Right there. So Chinedu and Folusho are our moderators for this session. And our speakers are the Comptroller Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service, NAQS, Dr. Emeka Asiegbo. Is he here? Yes, please put your hands together for Dr. Emeka, our first speaker for this session. We are also going to have the Head of Strategy and Communications, Nexim Bank, Tayo Umidiji. Is she here? Is he here? Okay, yes, he is here. You're welcome, sir. Also on this session, we'll have the Nigeria representative for Maritime Anti-Corruption Network. He was here earlier. He gave us the welcome address, Mr. Soji Apampa. And I emphasize how fine he is, because he was going to have my need for that. Moving on, we're going to have the Chief Executive Officer from Earth Graceland Limited, Chidi Ulelu. Please put your hands together for him. We also have the National Advisor, Investment and Technology, ITPO Germany, UNIDO, Adekunle Olushile. Please put your hands together for him. Adekunle Olushile. Is he here? All right. He's not here. He's not here. He has a representative. Okay. Apologies for that error. Unfortunately, we could not be joined by Musa Abdullahi, the Comptroller for Tinkan Island, because the former Comptroller General of Customs, Haman Kojoli, passed away. And it is important for Customs to be here. We understand their importance to be here. And they also want to be here, but because of this sad event, they cannot be here right now. However, we would likely have a representative from Tinkan in the second session. Over to you, Folusho and Chinedu.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for the time you've taken out from your busy schedules, I imagine, to be here with us today. We'll quickly do a few questions, and then at the end we'll have members also ask any of the panelists a few questions to round up. So I'm just going to go into it. The first thing we would like to know is your assessment of trade in Nigeria. What has been your experience with importing and exporting? What are the challenges you faced? And most importantly, we also want to know what are the processes that have worked. I would like to start with Chidi Ulelu, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Earth Graceland Limited.
Okay, thank you very much. Chidi Ulelu is my name. My company is Earth Graceland Limited. We do agriculture. We produce rice, fish, and then we sell cashew nuts. So you are asking the right person. We don't need to go far to see that there are challenges. There are challenges, and it is believed that this panel, this roundtable, is to address things like that. Cross-border issues. Cross-border issues. Almost every other place apart from here, you go. I'm just coming back from Ghana. It will take you 30 minutes to do what it takes 10 days to do in Nigeria. I'm literally speaking, I'm not exaggerating. So, and you wouldn't be too much, waste money just to be here because you are a patriotic fellow. Secondly, in terms of quality, the quality of the things we send out are usually having challenges. But you buy that same cashew here, you buy it in a village in the Republic of Benin. If they say it is 2 in a bag, there is no palm kernel instead of cashew nuts. It is going to be exactly cashew nuts. So quality and the bottleneck at the ports is a major issue. Lastly, and more importantly, this one, some of us came and met. 1976, 77, they stopped teaching French compulsorily in schools in Nigeria. And so every other 14 Francophone countries, they bunch together when you are dealing with them. They will tell you, we don't know how to speak English, but abuse him in English and see the way he's going to reply. And it is actually a challenge. So if there is a way that this, now we are going into Africa, our legs are tied, our hands are tied behind us, and we are running with Ben Johnson. So I think we can do something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would also like to address the same question to Dr. Emeka. You are at the Nigeria Quarantine Service, so that means you see things that go on at the borders especially. So what are the challenges? And also, if there are any good points to raise about the process of trade in Nigeria, please mention.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. First and foremost, to bring our DG, Vincent Esegbe, who is the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services. My name is Emeka Sebu. I am the controller with Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services. Our main function is basically to safeguard the nation against diseases and pests from agricultural products. Quarantine is an international agreement between nations to ensure that diseases are not allowed to move across international control posts. So I am on the other side of the fence. What you are asking, I am not an exporter, but I'm a regulator and somebody that controls export and import of agricultural products. My experience, to be candid, is that Nigerian factor. Most of us in this country know the right thing to do, but we don't like doing it. And it has cost us a big deal, a great deal in terms of export, especially export. Years back, we exported beans from this country to Europe, and it was intercepted and returned back to this country because of bad and sharp practices. We always want to beat the queue. We always want to do it the fast way. But at the end of the day, we are bringing a very bad reputation and image to the country. It's not really about, we know people are corrupt in this country, both government and the private sector. But there are still people that are upright. There are people that still want to do the right thing. If we all can start doing the right thing in terms of export and import of products, we will see a very big leap from where we are today. So if you ask me, I'll say, let's go back to the roundtable. Let's go back to the basis. When you're going to do an export, do proper investigation, inquire, know what you are supposed to do, and do it. Don't try to beat corners, because at the end of the day, you might beat corner here, but when you get there, they will intercept it because they don't allow that. And recently, because of COVID and so many other challenges, our rate of exports is declining, and it's also because most products that we are supposed to export are not satisfied because of our practices. So I will say, so far, we are not doing wonderfully well, but I know we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So one thing I took away from what you said is that as a people, as Nigerians, we all have our own roles to play in making sure that the quality of products that are exported out of this country meet international standard. Thank you. You also mentioned corruption, and so I'd like to hear from Mr. Soji Apampa. I know you wear 2 caps. Here it says Nigerian Representative Maritime Anti-Corruption Network. What's your take on the assessment of trade in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think trade is not one way. Nigeria is currently a dumping ground for substandard goods as well, simply because you can bribe at the borders. So you can bring anything in. And that's why you can have teething powder that has traces of antifreeze chemicals in it. You know, all of those things can come into Nigeria, but they won't go into other countries. So fast forward to Africa Continental Free Trade Area, what everybody else refuses and will be sold at a high price on the streets, and will still be saying the same thing, that it's a problem, Nigerians are corrupt. Well, if Nigerians are corrupt, do something about it. If you have standard operating procedures and you set it out and you then enforce and insist that these are the procedures, if you don't meet the procedures, there are consequences for it, and you insist on that, that's the only way you're going to compete in an open market. Otherwise, the trade will go elsewhere. That's the fact. So what the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network has found that works in Nigeria is that you set up your standard operating procedures to deal with the corruption risk and inefficiency. You set up a grievance reporting mechanism. So if officials are not following those processes, you have recourse. And we try to ensure that your recourse happens live. As the problem is happening, people are helping you solve it live. Or they are limiting your liability to loss. So if there's, for example, demurrage and everything, they intervene quickly and freeze everybody where they are. That until this matter is determined, you can't charge. Then I think people will then have the confidence to stand up and report wrongdoing and insist on the right processes being followed. This has worked successfully in vessel clearance in Nigeria, and the incidence of corruption from 2019 to 2021 has been steadily reducing in that area. But we have to put it to cargo clearance, movement of goods to warehouse to consumer. We have to include that as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Soji. That's to take away from there, standards. And one key thing he said was the regulator, because this is trade. Who regulates the regulators? You know, and yes, in this panel we have regulators, we have key players also, and in roundtable issues are actually being discussed for good. So who regulates the regulators? We've had an experience from an exporter, a player in the industry. We've had from an agency who are meant to regulate, you know, Mr. Chidiman mentioned of the quality of produce. Why Dr. Emeka talked about this is why they are there in the first place, right? And now we are having Mr. Suzuki talked about, yes, we have regulators, but also who regulates the regulators? So if corruption is a problem, knowing that I will keep charging this importer so long as he keeps paying demurrage, so nobody cares. You know, whatever happens, happens. Right, so I will come back to those, but let's just take two more feedbacks. I'm going to take from my colleague here, who's actually a player in the same industry. I want to hear from him because, yes, Apex are also part of, they are players also, so they are commodity players. So, let's hear from you. This same question. What have been your challenges like?
So mine will be practical, right? Trade has improved, even given the COVID-19 situation that we had. For agricultural produce, we still had a good volume of exports over the last 2 years, irrespective of the situation. One thing that has worked well is the CBN's trade monitoring system. So now there is a single platform where you can do lots of documentation before your product gets to leave the country. But once the product leaves your warehouse, a lot of things are suddenly out of your hands. Okay. Again, being practical, we had a shipment that was supposed to go to the Netherlands in April last year, and then the president visited Lagos. And that container did not leave Nigeria until October. So who bears the cost? We can't transfer cost to the farmer because the farmer has already given us those products. Customs said it's not their fault. The forwarder said he did the right thing. There was the presidential visit that meant that roads were blocked in Lagos and shipment just couldn't go for 6 months. At the time the product arrived, it was ginger. It was bad. 8 containers. Who bears the cost? So yeah, we've had tremendous improvements even in quality. Raw cashew nuts. What we did was just talk to the farmers about how it is bagged. So don't use polythene bags. You could use jute bags, and then we provided these jute bags at a cost. Okay, so if private players in the industry are doing the best that they can to even improve the image of commodities coming out of Nigeria, we need institutions to also back up these activities and ensure that there is seamless trade. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. I think that's should I call it a pathetic story for 6 months? So he gave a question, who bears the cost? Let's be talking about who bears the cost. While we proceed to the last person to take that question, and that should be Mr. Emmanuel. Sorry, Mr. Tayo Omidiji, Head of Strategy and Communications, Nexim Bank.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me bring greetings from the MD of Nexim Bank, Mr. Abba Bello, who approved, our partnership, to enable this roundtable hold. It's part of our mandate as Exim Bank. Now, I'm a solution provider. Nexim is a solution provider. A lot of problems affect exports, just like others have said. Issues of production and quality standard, logistics, port challenges, and of course finance. So the issue of finance is where we come in. We provide funding to support exports, at all stages of the value chain. Now, is there a problem also, in that impact our ability to adequately provide this support service? Yes. There are problems. There are problems because there is high preponderance of informal trade, particularly within the region. Trade, of course, generally is low. If you check statistics, intra-regional trade in Africa is low. Nigeria's trade with the rest of the region is just about 12%, when you check government statistics. But informal trade, NPC is here, they will tell you more about that. They conducted a study some few years ago. Informal trade is about 5 times more than that. And of course, that impacts ability for us to support those who do the export, because if you do your trade informally, you don't have record, nobody is able to access your capacity and be able to put value to what you do. So we can't support you. So those are some of the issues, which impact our ability to support trade, and maybe some of the things we want to look at here. And maybe I may also add this. Now, our strength for manufacturing exports is actually within the regional markets. Again, of course, everybody knows that 90% of more of what we export from Nigeria is oil. And that's what has put us into trouble. That's what has put Nigeria into trouble right now. Anytime oil market goes down or there is a shock in the global oil market, our revenue drops, sharply. Today, at least 70% of government revenue comes from oil. Over 90% of our export revenue comes from oil. So that's why anytime oil market goes down, we suffer sharp depreciation in our exchange rates, like we are witnessing today. Government revenue drops. Okay, so statutory allocation drops. States cannot pay their salary, and then there is a multiplier effect. It affects all sectors of the economy. So that's why we are preaching diversification. And for us to actually diversify properly, today, 70% of what we export are raw or semi-processed agricultural commodity. So we preach value-added export. Now, we are at a stage in our technology, in our infrastructure and technology development, where it's a bit difficult for us to compete with other parts of the world, Europe, America, for manufactured export. So our strength for manufactured export is within the regional market. Currently, over 90% of our manufactured export is sold within the regional market. So we need to leverage on that, enhance value addition, and that's the only way we can boost, our participation under the AFCFTA. So I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to address this next question to Mr. Soji Apampa to start, because this talks about Nigeria's cross-border trade. It is currently ranked 179 out of 190, and this has been as a result of some of the problems we've highlighted. And it's costing it. This sets Nigeria back some $6 billion annually. Why would you think that traders avoid direct trade with Nigerian ports and would rather go to neighboring countries? And what do we need to do better to make sure that Nigeria captures some of this value that is being lost?
Okay. Anyone in business knows that the first thing you're looking for is transparency. You want to know what processes you're going to face. A situation where you exported last week and now you come this week, you meet another set of officials and they're telling you a new set of rules. Or they're telling you the thing you exported last week, which had this particular HS code, they are debating with you the HS code this week. Nobody can abide that.
Chidi, you are an exporter. So this is, again, practical to you. In your experience, would you rather ship from any neighboring country? What improvements would you like to see in Nigeria? And what comparisons would you give between Nigeria and some of our neighboring countries?
Okay, so I'm going to answer with the patriotic mind and then the reality. Because if I only come and say all the problems and then I don't prefer solutions, I will be writing a mortician's record. And that makes no meaning. He died because of this. That won't wake him up. Yes, of a truth, there are challenges. Like, because I say we do fish. Since November, I'm not the one that brought about culinary imperialism in Nigeria. What I mean by that is, the rice we eat, the cassava, they are all imported food. The same thing with the stockfish we import. We're not asking to pay through the banks. It's not contraband. And the people that were ready to buy since December, some of them came all the way from the east, since November till this morning, the container has not come out. So, but like I said, what can be done? Normally what happens is that when Moses sees the burning bush, he approaches to ask questions. If possibly maybe he was a Nigerian then, he would have gone home. After the ashes have been burnt, he will come and make a shrine there and start worshiping the place. What can we do? I think, number one, market intelligence. This playing of Big Brother, they don't fear us anymore. They don't respect us like 20, 25 years ago. Proper market intelligence so that we know the people that we're dealing with. Why are their processes so good? Proper rules of origin. When Agua was here, the Indian will, import textile from Bangladesh, sew it in Nigeria, and send it to America as rule of origin from Nigeria. If Malaysia and Indonesia come to Republic of Benin, build a tank there, and process their oil there, under African Trade Act, the rule of origin is Republic of Benin. We will be buying as if it's from there. But with proper market intelligence, we can look at that. Then number two, agro quality. Let's not shy away from there. I was the secretary of the Phytosanitary Committee once, and I like the quarantine people. But the truth is that a lot lie in your hand. Let us see what we can do to make sure that the quality of these items are actually going to be properly taken care of as much as possible. And lastly, most importantly, you can't barb a man's hair while he's at home. I'm sorry the custom people are there, but let them know. You don't need to be scared. That's the challenge. When people find themselves in a position in Nigeria, they want to pick the one now and then the one of 10 generations. But in actual fact, they are very, very necessary. In the next phase, diversification of this economy, the customs are going to play a proper role. So let's look at them in three ways. Number one, I think that the custom officers, many of they are technical officers, they are not essentially just uniform officers. Let's put it in a position where the type of trainings that they have, they can use it and be consultants, be doing this kind of job when they retire. Let them know that job does not end at retirement. Number two, like I talked about language, let's give them crash program. We can't compete with all these people if we cannot speak their language. Don't say you are too old to learn. Let it be part of their curriculum. Let them learn French. On a crash program, it will help. And lastly, and more importantly, it is not only in import that we can make money. Because they have a target from government. Everybody wants to tax all the processes of import. They're more than, and then the whole place is blocked. If you organize export properly, there are ways you can make money. You know why? Because when more people are exporting, even if the charges are lower, you end up making more revenue for government and still meet your target without holding the importers at the jugular, which is what is happening now. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. I just wanted to start my own French lessons. Well, Madame et Messieurs, bonsoir. Je m'appelle Folusha. Anybody care to interpret that? Okay, so yeah, she got the last part. But good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to quickly ask Dr. Emeka. So, your agency has been mentioned. In your experience and going forward, what are the things you would like to tell exporters to watch out for? Say quality parameters they need to be careful that they've checked before attempting to export materials out of the country.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just as I said from the beginning, I'm still a government representative. So I'll always be talking from the point of government. I think one of the major problems we have, like when we're talking about people going to other countries to do export, is because of lack of knowledge. Permit me to go biblical. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. There are a lot of things that government have made easy through their policies in this country. But people don't have access to those knowledge. Sometimes they think it's that difficult. For instance, I work at the port. You see somebody that will have just gone to get his permit, maybe export permits, maybe for wooden pallets, for phytosanitary certificates, for maybe cashew seed. which at the end of the day, the cost of procuring those certificates might be very, very cheap and ease his exporting processes. But he would prefer to come to the ports and get people that will give him so much cost, and that will scare him away from doing the right thing next time. He will think that Nigeria is so tough because he's using the wrong channel to do these exports. So if we all go back to start following this process properly, you will discover that it's not that difficult to do export from Nigeria or to get import from Nigeria. Go to the port, you see a lot of containers. People still do it. But just as you said, the CBN platform has also created a kind of make it very easy for you. You even know the agencies you're going to meet as you're filling your form. There's also presidential business enabling environment, PEBEC, that have been set up to ensure that activities at the port are not delayed. So when you have such problem, you can call, there's a direct line. You can call the presidency that, look, I'm having challenge here and there, and they normally respond. Some of this information are not out there for people to access. Even closing of the border is part of what government tried to do. It's a policy to see how we can get ourselves do this thing in this country. It's not that bad. And for Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services, we are always trying to tell our people who do business with to do the right thing, because agriculture is a new phase. And from our experience, if we compromise standard, it will always come back to haunt us. So if you have ever used our services, you will see that we always ensure you do the right thing. We are trying our best to enlighten people. We do have stakeholders workshop, DG summits from time to time, at least 2-3 times in a year, where we call stakeholders to come. We enlighten them on what they need to know so that we can help ourselves and help this export business in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emeka. So I'll jump again down to Felicia. I'm done asking you, since you're a partaker, you're a stakeholder here. Now, we have things ranging from processes, transparency, lack of consistency, enlightenment, poor market intelligence. This is a trade summit. For a starter, a novice in this sector or in this space, would you say there's enough information to go around to guide people? Or is it a system of, okay, just go and do it, make mistake, we'll arrest you, or make mistake, we'll punish you? How much information do you think is out there for people?
Thank you for that question. And I think what Doctor said about information being there, the information is there, but how is it disseminated? Okay, so just 2 days ago, there was a circular that was released by, I think it was the CBN and Customs. They wanted to introduce the updates on the trade monitoring system that is supposed to begin February the 1st. I was there, so this was yesterday. And it's supposed to begin February 1st, but the representative of the CBN said there will be trainings next week and in 2 weeks' time for something that is supposed to begin February the 1st. So we're already shooting ourselves in the foot. And anybody that contravenes this now has disobeyed the law. So there needs to be very good planning ab initio before changes are made. And then these circulars that are coming in forms of writing, COVID has taught us something. You can train people virtually. I had to fly in from Abuja yesterday. Why not sit in my office and use Zoom or something and get this training? Why do we have to wait 1 week and in the next 2 weeks when a training can easily be held tomorrow? Send a link and then people join. Now, a few months ago, I wanted to export and the talk of export level came up. And I was looking for a law or something from the ministry that is there, public knowledge. I had to speak to friends in the industry who had to go and find the circular. So even if the information is there, the accessibility to that information is still a key problem for exporters. I speak from the position of an exporter, so I wouldn't know if importers find it easier. But accessing this information is still a critical problem for trade in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. I think that's also complement with what the first Mr. Chidi said. about the proper market intelligence. So it's a thing of having the information out there, and how is it even put up there? Is it just there for only a select few to see, or is it for everybody to see? So let me come down to Mr. Tayo from the Nexen Bank. What's your perspective on this whole thing? Because the figure Folusho read was a report by the World Bank, right? And they were saying, I think 179 out of 190. Is that a pass mark? Is that a pass mark? If your child attends a school and okay, that's bottom of the class. Okay, so from the Nexen Bank point of view, what can we do to take this figure higher? We need to get better at what we do. So what do you think can be done better?
All right, thank you very much. Now, I think there are a lot of government initiatives. It's just maybe people need to be more aware. There may be need to create more awareness. For example, NEPC as an agency, their main mandate is to create market awareness. Okay, number one, develop market for export, and then make people aware of what they need to do to go into export market. That's why even for us as Nexen Bank, when prospective customers come with their application, one of the requirements is that you must be registered with NEPC. So it is expected that via that platform, you will be updated of current, policy development. But even apart from that, there are other avenues. We ourselves as Nexen, we organize quarterly what we call Exporter Enlightenment Program. Because we know that there is this knowledge gap, that actually it makes it difficult for a lot of our exporters, to be able to approach the market in the way we want. So we organize this event quarterly. We take it to different parts of the country, and we invite all trade-related organizations. We invite NAPC, Customs, NAFDAC, even Quarantine, all the trade-related organizations, for them to come and address exporters and let them know what the requirements are, to access the market. There is this initiative under the office of the Vice President, which we call the MSME Clinic. Okay, that started also about 3 years ago. These are all initiatives aimed at, ensuring that we bridge the information gap. Then recently, partly because of what he said, and of course because of COVID and the need to also take the training, to people wherever they are, Nexen again recently launched an online export academy, whereby we have series of programs, simple programs, how to do export, how to register a business, short programs, which have been digitalized and can be people can go to the sites and do some of this training by themselves. So these are some of the things we've done is by actually creating an environment where people can learn and bridge the knowledge gap that we can address some of these problems. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So there's so much being shared here already. And probably in the next session, we're going to be looking at some of those things in another dimension too, that has been raised already. So let me just run through the last, because I think our time is not friendly. So we have the last question for this panel, and it's looking at the AFTA agreement, right? So basically, I will start with, yes, Soji again. But you made mention of that in your opening remark. You talked about the AFTA, that this will actually make Nigeria a dumping ground at the end of the day if things are not being done properly. And that would even skyrocket the prices of goods and commodities out there on the streets. Now, so let's look at this AFTA. We're hearing of AFTA. What can Nigeria really do? And beneficial, could this be to Nigeria in the long run if we do it right?
Okay, if we do it right, imagine you're a young person. There are many things that tie together which we don't have policies about. Imagine as young people want to use cryptocurrency. Nigeria finds a way to allow goods, trade in goods and services to be done in cryptocurrency. It means you can sit in your house as a young lady, start your beauty cream or whatever it is business, put it online, and people don't have to find the almighty dollar. With their local currency, they can actually buy your products, and you have it in a way that you can convert it into your naira and so on. But we have excluded that already, which other countries have not excluded. So if it works well, we would look at it because it means young people can grow large and become multinational, even from their bedrooms. Just by thinking it, they can make it happen. That's number one. Number two, if we got it right, it means that everything to do, you can also do it from your bedroom. You can upload your documents. You can link up. Those who are going to pay you can pay directly to the bank. You find a way to do all of the processes without leaving your house. From as far back as 2001, when I did a stint in South Africa, I exported all my things from here to South Africa. I was looking for an agent, as any good Nigerian will do. And the South African authority said, "Why do you need an agent? Isn't it your personal effects?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Go and clear it." And I went there. It didn't even take me 30 minutes. I just walked in there, showed my passport and everything, showed the paperwork, and I picked up my personal effects. It wasn't even an issue. Try that in Nigeria. So if it's working right, it will be digitalized. You will be able to do everything online. And theirs was even paper at the time. Still, I could do it in like 30 minutes. Here, 30 days, you still haven't gotten your container out of the port. Personal effects. So when we've done it right, it means that lots of Nigerian businesses will then be competing to get to the rest of Africa. We will double our GDP in a matter of 3 years. We can, because we've got enterprising people, and that's why the whole of Africa is afraid of Nigeria. Just that we can't get our act together. So if we got our act together, government revenues will go through the roof. Then you don't have to find special cunning ways to now be taxing social media and so on, just to raise revenue when people are not actually producing. Then people will be encouraged to produce. Let me leave it there.
All right, so before I push down to finish, and this is actually what the 1.365 platform is aimed at, right? From the comfort of your houses, from your just where you're lying down, you can do everything you want to do. Isn't that magnificent? Do you like that?
Absolutely.
Or we like the one where you want to go and queue up and it takes you 30 days to get across to one person to get information that is not properly shared. And so that is what we do. So Felicia, let me put that to you.
Okay, so staying with the AFC FTA agreement, I have one question, but it's double folded. So the question is to Dr. Emeka and Mr. Tayo. What do you believe are the responsibilities of the public sector to drive this agreement? And to Mr. Chidi, I also want to know what you think are the responsibilities of the private sector in terms of drive and then fulfilling the responsibilities of the AFC FTA agreement. So I'll start with Mr. Tayo first.
Okay, talking about the responsibility of the public sector. Now, I know there is an AFC FTA secretariat, which the federal government has constituted. Number one, to ensure that we get a favorable deal, negotiate, and ensure that Nigeria gets, good deal. Secondly, prepare Nigerians, okay, to be able to, again, maximize the benefits of our participation under AFCFTA. Now, there were a lot of hues and cries, and just like have been mentioned here today, if you're not careful, okay, it may expose us to the extent that we now become a dumping ground for others. But at the same time, I believe Nigeria has the best prospect to benefit from this deal. Because already we are doing a lot within the region, but informally. If you go to a lot of these neighboring countries, all the products you see there are from Nigeria. So what we then need to do is to leverage on this. Now, a lot of key government agencies have key roles to play. People have talked about customs. Custom has a major role to play. And again, this has been emphasized at several fora. We need to agree that number one role of customs is to facilitate trade. The objective of generating revenue appears to be paramount, okay, in their focus. So, but they need to put a lot more focus on how to facilitate trade, okay, get the standards right, get the processes right, and then educate Nigerians on what they need to do. I agree that a lot of us want to circumvent the process, but again, maybe it's because the processes are too cumbersome, you know, and of course, for a businessman, it's looking at the time, the cost of compliance, and all of those things. So I think we need to make it simple enough to encourage compliance, and in such a way that it's not too costly that, you know, it becomes a disincentive to comply. So we need to look at that. And of course, other agencies, like I've said, there are agencies in terms of quality standards. Okay, NAFDAC, SON, quarantine. Because again, exporters are like ambassadors. Okay, if you send out the wrong product, I'm sorry, I'm putting more emphasis on export. Because of course, that's the mandate of my organization. The imports will come. I mean, but yes, but again, for you to be able to import, you have to export because you pay for import with foreign exchange. If you are not exporting, you don't get the foreign exchange to enable you import. So you don't need to tell Nigerians to import. Our taste for foreign consumption is high. But for us to keep consuming those foreign things we want, we need to also produce and export. So we need to really put a lot more focus. Our quality agencies in charge of quality control need to up their games, you know, and ensure that when we send things outside, they are the right thing, they are of the right quality, right labeling standards, so that they don't get Nigerians blacklisted. Because once we send the wrong products, number one, the exporter himself may not get his money, and then, you know, there's a likelihood that they blacklist, you know, such products coming from Nigeria. Then there is the issue of infrastructure. You know, trade infrastructure is one of it. Incidentally, we as Nexim happen to be working on one, you know, for now. Issue of movement of goods, you know, using the sea. Right now, for those who may have traveled along the west coast, I have traveled from Nigeria to Ghana by road before. I mean, I can't count the number of checkpoints that you have to pass through. And at each checkpoint, you have to keep dropping something. So you can imagine what a trader will go through if he has to send his products, you know, by road within the region. So for reasons like that and for other reasons, that's why Nexim is promoting what we call the Regional Sea Link project. It's a project that you know, focuses on West Africa having its own regional vessel that can move goods within the region. We've been on it for quite some time. There have been all sorts of issues, just like any other new project, but we have surmounted a lot of those issues for now, and we expect that before the end of this year, the project will go live. It would have gone live 2 years ago, but then we felt that because the idea was to promote intra-regional trade, but then we felt that, okay, we should also look at the inland waterways. Nigeria has a lot of solid minerals resources, But part of why we've not been able to leverage a lot on that is because of the lack of the transport infrastructure to move. I mean, how many tons of lead, of zinc, can you move by trailer or copper or iron, or can you move by road? So that's why we need to develop also our inland waterways to feed into the regional waters so that we can, move some of these commodities. So I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
Okay, just before the next speaker, so he made mention of something, right? The inland, the regional movement. On an average, do you know how long it takes to move your cargo from Nigeria to South Africa? Or Nigeria to Congo? Anybody? On an average. How long? No, don't worry, it's not a pass off. Anything you say is correct. So feel free. If you say 1 day, you are correct. If you say 100 days, you are correct. Anyone you say. So I think that's part of the thing, the projects that the ceiling with Nexenbank, it's actually looking at. Okay, you want to say something? I will say because it's very key. If our cargo will keep flying down Europe and then they bring returning vessels back to Africa, before you have that cycle. So a journey of 1-2 days, start taking 30 at the least 60 days. That's terrible. Your whole ginger would have gone off. So that's just to shed more light to that. Okay, so please let's have the Dr. Emeka, right?
Thank you very much. Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service, NAQS, is very much aware that we have more of import into this country than export. So over the years, we've been working seriously to improve our export products by ensuring standardization of most of these products. And when African Continental Free Trade Zone area agreement came into play, we started to add value to some of the products that are supposed to be exported, along the value chain. We have started that. We've even done a lot of write-ups, which some of them will be published very soon. Like if you want to export snail, we have a value chain processes where you read, you understand how to go about it from the farm, harvesting, packaging, application for export, and then the standard that is needed abroad, because not everything that you just put there. There is this particular requirement some countries need that you are not supposed to be within that organism or material or product that you're taking out. There are some pests you need to be aware of how to control them. There are some diseases you need to be aware of. So we have this value chain, adding value to value chain kind of program where we are doing on poultry. Some of us have written documents like that and submitted for publication on mango, on cashew, so many products. So why we are doing this is to ensure that when this whole agreement comes to play, our own part of it will be to ensure that these people that also come for this trade will be able to export from our country. We will not just be a dumping ground, as emphasized by one of the speakers here. We want to ensure that farmers, exporters, and even businessmen will come into this and understand. Some of this information, you can get them at our website, and also you can approach our offices to get information on how to go about these things. If you are interested in export, ensure that you follow the laid down procedure so that you don't have problem. So I will say Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services is really working hard to see that this Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is well harnessed.